From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Good morning. It's early mornings in LA, and breaking news this morning, the fourth stimulus check heats up, with monthly stimulus checks getting a major new push as economic data supports stimulus checks really helped this economy. Yesterday, the retail sales numbers came in and showed that the second stimulus check, the $600 one from last fall, really spurred economic growth in the month of March, turning us around from a negative month the month before to a huge number through the month of March. I'll have the latest detail. I'll also have the breaking news about the labor number for unemployment claims, showing incredible growth across the marketplace. Meantime, I'll detail the big money under fourth stimulus, how much you can get, and who would qualify for it. I'll go over who qualifies for that fourth stimulus check. It's you. And I'll also go over the data on how you can get this through to the finish line. I'll also analyze the comparison from the House to the Senate about how this gets done across the board. Meantime, also in this recording, I'll go over the big, exciting, great news about that $6,000 that one senator wants you to have. Ron Wyden introduces a new bill that could pay you $6,000 every year, lifetime, as long as you need it. Meantime, also breaking news late yesterday, a new caucus was formed, and their caucus is causing concern about what they want and don't want under the fourth stimulus package. Meantime, new video from the White House, which you'll see in this video, which details the incredible push again for fourth stimulus. Does it talk about climate? And why is climate your e-ticket to get those monthly stimulus checks? $2,000 a month or $1,400 a month? Also, I'll recap what happened yesterday. I asked viewers, would you rather go with the Democratic House plan, which pays you checks over 18 months, less amount, or more checks or less checks, but of higher value, quicker under the Senate plan? I have all that breaking news and new legislation coming from both sides of the Democrat caucus as Early Mornings LA kicks up its high feet, or its hooves if it's sirloin, starting this very moment right here, direct from Los Angeles. And the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here. And could another round of third stimulus checks be here as well? You know it's Friday, and you know what Friday means, another round of stimulus checks. Well, we had a big shocker this week as another 2 million stimulus checks were sent out on Wednesday of the third stimulus check. 2 million were sent out, of which only 300,000 were for veterans. So what were the other part of the 2 million? It was people who had not been paid in prior rounds, who don't file tax returns, and are non-file filings. So could more stimulus checks be sent out this week? We will know tomorrow, as the IRS tool will likely update itself again if they were. I'll follow that with you tomorrow. But first, that plus-up check that a lot of people have been wondering about. 700,000 plus-up checks were sent out yesterday by Treasury. What is that and how does that work? I'll tell you in just a second. But first, make sure you subscribe. This is Early Mornings LA, your lighthearted, easy breezy, fun, and informative broadcast that gives you the latest updates across the board on the financial markets. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. You get the bills before anyone else, like the Ron Wyden bill, delivered the minute it was introduced to the Senate 2 days ago. So what is this plus-up check? The plus-up check is a check that has the worst name ever. It makes it sound like you're getting $1,400 plus something on top of it, doesn't it? That's not what it is. It's for people who got less than $1,400. They will give you the remainder to make it to $1,400. It should be called the remainder check, not the plus-up check. Plus-up means extra on top. Yeah, it's based upon the concept if you filed a 2019 tax return and you made too much money, they gave you less than $1,400. And then when you filed a 2020 tax return, they're like, oh, you made less than $75,000. Here's a full check. Now they're sending out $700,000 remainder amounts to get you the full $1,400. Worst name ever. But what's making big news today is that monthly stimulus check. Monthly stimulus checks is getting pushed by Senate Democrats and House Democrats, not from the president, and not from the Republicans. Those Senate Democrats and House Democrats want it in there, and they'll get it in there. Let's start with the delicious news across the board. If they got this out in July and ran through December, it would give you 6 checks. Look at this money, the single biggest payday ever. If it's $2,000 a month, it's $12,000 over 6 months. This is per person. This is not for the household. This is per person. If it's $1,400 a month, it's $8,400. Look at this huge money. How does this work, and what is the differences between the House and the Senate plans? Let's go over it. The House plan is to provide you stimulus checks through the entire pandemic plus 1 year thereafter. Senate plan is to give you stimulus checks just to December. So 6 checks, whereas the House members could give you upwards of 18 checks. More about that in a second. The senators are the leaders of the Democratic Party. They're the elder statesmen. The House members are the junior members of the Democratic Party. They're progressives. The House members want to give you a smaller monthly check, about $1,000 a month they want, or $2,000 the first month, and then $1,000 thereafter. So smaller amount, but 18 months of that smaller amount. The senators want to give you a bigger amount. Where on the streets, they want to give you $2,000 a month or $1,400 a month for a shorter time frame. Here's the numbers. Let's look at those numbers, and let me tell you what viewers said yesterday. I asked viewers, would you rather get, for example, 6 months of $2,000, $12,000, more money up front now, through now and December, or have to go over 18 months slower to get $18,000. More money slower or less money faster? What do you think? Drop in the comments right now. Faster or slower? If you like a faster, smaller amount or a slower, larger amount. Viewers, 99% of them yesterday said a faster, smaller amount. They rather get $12,000 on the come now rather than $18,000 over a longer period of time. I agree. A new report from the Federal Reserve said that nearly 50% of all first stimulus and third stimulus is kept in the bank. People don't spend all the money. That only about 20, 30, 40, or 50% is actually spent. The rest is saved. So under that theory, if you want the money up front, you're going to save it and make money on it, keep it in the bank. Smart thinking. Smart thinking, because you saw what happened yesterday. Tech rallied. If you're going to invest it, you may have done well. Tech rallied up 5%. Microsoft earlier in the day was up about 370, about 5%. Facebook up 5%. Amazon up 5%. Bitcoin, crypto was up about 1% for Bitcoin, but Ethereum was up nearly 5%. Here's what you need to know about keeping that money in the bank. Well, a new report came out yesterday, and it showed that retail sales went through the roof. This is absolutely shocking. Now, let me explain what you're looking at. In the month of February, retail sales went down 2.7%. Why? In January, they had the $600 stimulus check, late January, early February. So they used the $600 stimulus check, and then they had nothing left. So February slumped. March, they did not have the $1,400 third stimulus check yet, because most people didn't get to later in the month. And so the March 10% growth number is just huge. This number came out yesterday. Wall Street is expecting a 6% growth on retail sales, and it came in at 10%. This is great news for stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks. Why? Because even if you're investing 50% of the money, it shows that the second stimulus check, the mere $600, really helped this economy grow retail sales. You spent the check, or at least some of it. And that when you didn't have a check, you didn't spend money because you didn't have it. But in March, as we started to reopen, there you go. Imagine how strong April's number is going to be based upon the $1,400 stimulus check you're getting now, even if you're spending 50% or 30% of it. Great push for monthly stimulus checks. Now, on the other side was another jaw-dropping news event yesterday, and that came in at the unemployment number. Let's start with this one. I mean, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Every Thursday, the new unemployment claims are released. You've been with me for 40 weeks and you've seen this number every week. It's always been 1 million new unemployment claims, 800,000, 700,000. I mean, just look at this. Wall Street was expecting the new unemployment claims to be 710,000. It dropped nearly 200,000 unemployment claims last week. It was the lowest number of new unemployment claims since the start of the pandemic. My goodness. This is huge growth and change of this economy. It's just jaw-dropping. Let's look at the number the week before and show you how dramatically different it was. If I have that number here in the database, it just shows you how quickly things are changing. Here was the week before. 576 this week. Here you go, the week before. 744. It's just shocking. What an incredible improvement of this economy. From 728 2 weeks ago, then 744 last week, and now in the 500,000. It's just amazing. Last week, the continuing unemployment claims stayed very high. Guess what? Yesterday, they fell 1 million in a week. Unbelievable. It's incredible, great news. And there is the big turnaround. California last week showed a massive surge of new claims. Yesterday, it dropped 100,000. Virginia dropped 23,000. Texas dropped more. This data is part of the continuing growth data of what's happening in this economy. Other states showed similar growth as well. Analysts reacted to the news and said, you know what, this is showing where we're going. It shows that that this growth is still continuing. Ohio showed 22% drop, 22,000% drop as well. 22,000 jobs dropped last week as well. What was the reaction to the news? The reaction was just I was shocked. I was speechless. Mike Pierce, senior U.S. economist at Capital Economics, yesterday reacted to the news. He said, we're expecting overall consumption growth to continue rebound rapidly in the second quarter too. As the vaccine rollout proceeds at a rapid pace and household finances are in strong shape, we continue to see this grow. And this is as other people saw incredible stuff across the board. 2 days ago, Walmart announced that it was moving a lot of people from part-time to full-time status, and that 740,000 of its 1.2 million employees will be full-time by January. American Airlines is now ramping up employment as well. They're now going to 90% of its summer 2019 routes and 80% of its 2019 international routes because they think there's going to be a lot of employment across the board. Now, even though that is happening, one person wants to give you $6,000. Who is that? It is this man. It's a great plan. It's a great plan. He said, as we've seen in the last year, it's much harder for the unemployment system to work in a crisis when it's been neglected and sabotaged. So what is he proposing? It's incredible. He's proposing the following: $6,000. $6,000 on top of a stimulus check, on top of any other stimulus you see on this channel. How does it work? It would be $250 a month for 6 months every year. It's a bill that he introduced to the Senate 2 days ago. Who is it for? My PUA viewers. So PUA is going away in September. It's not likely to get continued. PUC is going away as well. It was created under the pandemic because the first stimulus package saw that gig workers, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, Airbnb, were not getting unemployment assistance. They're not employees. They're sole practitioners. They're 1099s. They're not W-2s. And so under the first stimulus package, they created PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, for gig workers. Well, that's going away in September. Wyden says we can't have it go away. Great idea. Great idea. So his idea is to give you $250 a week for 6 months per year, lifetime, as often as you need it. So if you're unemployed next year or unemployed for a few months or 2 years from now, you become unemployed, it's a program that's not tied to COVID, so it's not going to expire. It will be a permanent new fixture paid by the federal government to take care of people who are self-employed. It's great. You would think that during the pandemic, we see other things we need to fix, and we fix them, and that is where things should go. And away we go. Coming up later in this recording, I'll be going over new video from the White House that makes the push for forced stimulus across the board. There's a major new push for forced stimulus, and we'll watch that video from your your energy secretary. New video from Dr. Fauci. Meantime, we'll touch base on why the banking growth numbers and the blowout numbers this week showed incredible growth, and why, whether it's crypto or financial tech stocks, show you that things are getting really strong across the board. You want this forced stimulus to heat up as soon as possible. Meantime, we'll take a look inside of this. Oh boy, this is a vehicle that could shake up the EV market like we have never seen. It's delicious. And look at that screen in there. My goodness, that's coming up later. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LALATE with big updates about your fourth stimulus, your third stimulus, your standalone bill of $6,000 from Ron Wyden, and that $50,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, whose memo is due later today. That $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness memo from Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is due later today. In it, he will detail to the president, likely, that the president can forgive your $50,000 of student loan debt by executive order. Obama did it, Trump did it, and hence Biden should be able to do it. This comes on the news that Elizabeth Warren got a memo released from the federal government per her request that shows 36 million Americans will benefit from having $50,000 of student loan debt forgiven. That means that those 36 million Americans who are unable to buy a home because of their student loan debt can now start a business now, buy a car now. Those all would spur incredible economic growth. 36 million Americans, imagine. Coming up later in this video is more about that fourth stimulus. But first, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. There's a live chat over here going on. So say hello and say hello to everyone. Hopefully, by the time this video airs, the live chat is working, because yesterday we did have problems with the live chat. Not my fault. Yesterday's Early Mornings show did not have a live chat because there was a problem with YouTube on the instant premiere function. So hopefully it's solved by then. Coming up later is the deliciousness of this. Let's take a look at that. Wow, that's coming up later in this video. But one thing I want you to know is that the excitement is continuing with LALATE later today. We have a new programming block, and let me jump to the first part of it. Mornings LALATE comes to you at 12 noon Pacific Eastern Standard Time. Then 2 hours later is noontime. These are the time slots you've known to love. Just remind you when they are. Afternoons LALATE is 2 hours later at 4 p.m. Then 2 hours later, another afternoons LALATE at 6 p.m. Evenings LALATE at 8 p.m. All the same time slots, no change there whatsoever until you get to LA Late Night. That debuted last night with Sirloin versus Javita Light. Are you serious? Yeah, I am serious. Last night's show was Javita Light versus Sirloin. The first time ever. It was not WW. It was not a wrestling match, but it was just about close. Hope you are good and safe. Fourth stimulus is really heating up, and that fourth stimulus is heating up in a way which no one really saw. Yesterday, something debuted itself, and it's just very salty. It's called the Salt Caucus. It's It's a few. How many? Really hard to tell. Less than a handful of House members who are Republicans and Democrats who are saying that when they get the fourth stimulus package, they're going to demand a repeal of the SALT tax. Now, when I detailed this yesterday to viewers, they said, "Are you saying we're not going to get fourth stimulus?" No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you the news of the situation. There is enough spread of Democratic to Republican numbers in the House that you could even lose one or two defectors, like a Manchin-ish person in the House, not the Senate, if they were going to say, "I'm not doing a bill unless this." Well, that's what they sort of said yesterday, is that when they get the bill, they're demanding those items in there. You and I have been around a while, so we've seen whether it was Josh Hawley or Bernie Sanders, people that folded like lawn chairs, or progressives even, who said, "I'm not doing it unless." And then as soon as they get it, they're like, whatever. A lot of bark, no bite. But what they're proposing is actually quite good, and Leader Schumer wants as well. It's to allow more deductions beyond the $10,000 cap put under the 2017 tax reform. The proponents of it say it helps the middle class. The opponents of it say it only helps the rich people, and it predominantly helps people in big states like California and New York, which is who proposed it. Those are Democratic members of Congress were from California and New York who proposed yesterday's SALT amendments. So here's what you need to know, is that fourth stimulus is heating up, and that the big money at issue is all for you. That fourth stimulus would go for Votorama, and either the House members could put it in there or the senators could put it in there. You would get it if you make less than $75,000. If the household is four or less, and if you're on SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or veterans benefits. The money is incredibly big. It's the biggest thing you've ever seen on this channel. Look at this number. I mean, just look at it. It's just huge. It's just huge. It's bigger if it's the House plan, but it's paid slower over time because it would be more months, but a smaller amount over time. You want that bill to land that House as soon as possible, because what have we seen this week? Well, we started with the blowout earnings from the banks. Wells Fargo coming in for Q1 2020 earnings nearly double what Wall Street expected. And then Goldman Sachs. I mean, look at this. Double what Wall Street expected. You saw the unemployment numbers coming in so low yesterday. You saw the retail sales numbers coming in yesterday, just a blowout. You want this to come in sooner rather than later. Among the confusing data is the growth of COVID now. Again, the graphic has a mistake. It should say summer 2020. It is now at the highest level since summer of 2020. Number of COVID cases daily, 71,000, increasing 8% per day. Really hard to tell why we're increasing daily. Let's listen to Dr. Fauci in yesterday's briefing. Perhaps he has some insight as to what's going on and whether it's going to stop.
Is there a real problem here? Did you cut corners, and did you not pay enough attention to safety? The fact that following the EUA, we have continued to follow very carefully any possibility of adverse events, I believe, is the other side of the coin of hesitancy. It should reinforce in those individuals how we take safety so seriously. So as opposed to looking this as a negative safety issue, it could be looked at as a positive issue where they know that when we let a vaccine be available and give it a go-ahead to be put into the arms of the American people, we do it with a considerable degree of confidence as to its safety.
Meantime, yesterday, the president debuted a new press video, again, about pushing for fourth stimulus. In here, there is very little said about climate, except that it's good to have energy-efficient appliances. I have no idea why that's in there. I did not make this video. I made the video of the video you're watching. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Here is the new video from the White House.
Investment in America since World War II. My name's Jennifer Granholm. I am head of the Federal Department of Energy, and I want to address some of the myths that are out there about the American Jobs Plan.
Infrastructure is only roads, bridges, and highways.
No way. It's roads, it's bridges, it's highways, but it's also airports, seaports, trains, and broadband, of course. Infrastructure is so broad, and it creates all kinds of jobs in all pockets of America.
We have to choose between improving the economy and addressing climate change.
We can do both. There is a $23 trillion global market for the products that are going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions out there. Who's going to be making those products? Where are they going to go? Well, we could do nothing, or we could say we as a country are going to corner the market on a number of these products to put our people to work.
Clean energy will make bills go up for middle-class Americans.
That is such a myth. The clean energy solutions, like energy efficiency in appliances, save consumers massive amounts of money. The average family saves about $320 a year just by installing energy efficient appliances. That, to me, is the best kind of savings. If you want to learn more about this amazing American Jobs Plan, go to whitehouse.gov/American Jobs Plan.
And that is your very energetic energy secretary, as Sir Lloyd said last night. If you missed Sirloin versus Javita last night, Sirloin had his take on the energy secretary. So catch that video. He reacts to your very energetic energy secretary who doesn't have any light bulbs on in that room. Just very interesting what these said, Sirloin. Let me give you the big recap where we are as we go into the afternoon, where we go into the morning. First, the EIDL grant, the remainder of the $10,000 EIDL grant is being paid. Watch for that invite. That invite is coming. I can exclusively report to you two things about it. One, the invite started in the month of February to view this channel. Second, the people being invited were applicants as late as July, before applicants from March of last year. It's randomly being done in no chronological order. Second, I can exclusively report that people who got the invite in February, this February, and responded and have not heard a response back from SBA, there's another vortex underway. Yeah, I'm not joking. There's actually another vortex underway. The February responses, people who have responded back from February, they're stuck in a vortex. SBA knows about the vortex and is getting to you. That's why you're seeing other people who have applied, who have responded after you, like in March and April, get their money right away, and you haven't. PPP grant is back on. The Shutter Venue grant now live, and the restaurant grant about to go live. There is no grant for new businesses to start that up as well. The EIDL loan is also live, where you can increase your loan across the board. Meantime, we're likely to hear more about forced stimulus today. We're going to wait and watch with bated breath. Today is the day in which that student loan debt forgiveness is announced. I hope it is. I really hope today is the day in which we hear that student loan debt forgiveness. Expect more talk from the SALT caucus that will ultimately try to get their narrative front and center. This SALT caucus are the former members of the problems creators from last year. Yeah, it's like 2020 all over again. They have a logo, they have press releases, and if you were with me last year, they have a press agent. I'm not joking. Last year, the prom creators had a press agent. That's why they're always booked on TV. So expect the SALT caucus to get themselves on television across the board today. So don't react negatively or positively. They're not a large group. Their opinions are specific. And guess what? I got more shows for you coming up later today. Let's catch that schedule again. Coming up next is Mornings LALATE at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours after that is every new show. Just count 2 hours out. 2 hours after that is noontime. 2 hours after that is afternoon's first show. 2 hours after that is another afternoon show. Then 2 hours after that is evenings. And then 2 hours after that is our new late night show. And if you missed our overnights show as well, catch them as well on this channel. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board today. And if you not like this video, like it. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 likes. Every like you do really helps. Thank you for tuning in to Early Mornings LA. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcium VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and I will see you next on Mornings LALATE. See you then.